It's about the restoration of our republic. We want to educate, encourage, enable the power. We stand for integrity, honesty, self-reliance, self-defense, and most importantly, no compromise on our foundational principles. This is America's Voice Now.
Find America's Voice Now on Facebook and at americasvoicenow.org. Here's Michael Evans.
Good morning, America. My name is Michael Evans, and you're listening to America's Voice Now. I'm happy to be back on this Tuesday morning. I was out of town for a couple of days at a USA Prepares event that was held in Lebanon, Missouri, and it was an outstanding opportunity to meet with some very, very interesting folks. The lineup of speakers there was just unbelievable. And moreover, I had an opportunity to meet with a number of other radio hosts who were really outstanding men and women. And we had a chance to kind of talk about our situation here and how things are moving in reference to the closeout of 107.1 from News Talk to whatever format comes on. And I was able to gain some insight and some helpful advice, suggestions, while at the same point in time talking a little bit about our program, which we'll be kicking off shortly as well. And for those of you who aren't or aware or haven't really heard about it, we're going to be developing a studio that will enable us to continue to do our broadcast. We'll continue to stream live every day. We will also be able to offer new and alternative methods to picking up our show so that while we may not necessarily be on terrestrial radio here in West Plains area, you'll still have opportunities to listen to AVN. A couple of different ways that you'll be able to do that will be via a streaming application for both Android and iPhone. We're working on that right now. And we'll also be available and have a talk telephone number that you can literally just dial into. Liberty News Radio and Liberty Roundtable have picked up AVN, and so we'll be broadcasting live there. Now the show airs there at 6 p.m. at night and 6 a.m., so it's a little bit different format time-wise, but the call-in line there will be a line that you can literally just dial into and listen to the entire program. It's a one-way line. You can't talk back, and it is not toll-free. It's a regular telephone number, but it will provide you with an opportunity to capture the show in a way that you haven't been able to before, which is literally you just dial this phone number. It's area code 712-432-6623, and also 213-992-4323. And you can listen to the entire program via phone. You can also listen to other programs on Liberty News Radio. You can go to them at libertynewsradio.com and also libertyroundtable.com. Both of those programs are sponsored or put on by Sam Bushman and Kurt Crosby. Sam is a radio host that is out of Utah. He's been very, very instrumental in helping me organize the necessary components and pieces to put this project together. And I got to thank him very much for his efforts. Sam is a very unusual guy. He's blind, totally blind from birth, and he has 8 children. And he's just an astounding individual. He writes software. Don't ask me how. Can't tell you. But just an outstanding, dynamic guy who is really, really motivated by God, country, and family. And I got to tell you, you would be remiss if you did not visit his website and listen into a couple of his programs. It's libertyroundtable.com and libertynewsradio.com. And libertynewsradio.com has some links back to all the different programs that are out there. We'll update that website as well. So We're also going to be offering an opportunity to catch us on a Roku box. So if you're familiar with Roku or you've got one at home, we'll actually be on a channel that Sam owns, and that will allow us to be picked up in another fashion or format. And then the Android and iPhone apps will enable you to literally catch the show live as it streams, and also be able to capture podcasts. So tell you what, though, I've got some great news that came in yesterday, and I really, really want to talk about this morning. And I would invite your phone calls to discuss this issue, because we here at AVN, and I personally am so blessed by a listener and a supporter and a sponsor of AVN who has stepped up and pledged that they will match, get this, folks, they will match every donation that is put up by our listeners, our friends, and our supporters from now until the 31st of July. And so every dollar that you folks put up to help us get this studio built and on the air will be matched dollar for dollar by them. And they want to remain anonymous, and I will honor that request. But I got to tell you, I am truly touched, and I am humbled by their generosity and their commitment to our cause. And you should be too. This is a couple which I can't express. You know, I'm generally not at a loss for words, but when it comes to this issue and what they've done and what they've stepped up to do, I got to tell you, I am at a loss for words. I really am impressed and very, very humbled by their gracious gift and commitment to our cause. And so what an outstanding commitment of support for this program. And if you can participate, what our goal is now is to stretch this gift to make it as bountiful as possible. The goal would be to have our listeners contribute and, have some skin in the game, make sure that they understand that this program, America's Voice Now, and what I do every day are part of what, and they're a part of that, because this isn't just me. This is me talking about the things that all of us are, one, concerned about, two, need to know about, and three, really don't have another avenue or outlet to gather this information. And, I was talking to another host the other day, and I said to him, I'm really uncomfortable with this idea of trying to raise money. I never want it to feel like this is about money. And he said, I used to be the same way. He said, but I got to tell you something. He said, I said, I'm not selling something. I don't have a book to sell. I don't sell T-shirts. I don't sell mugs. I don't do those types of things on AVN. Our goal is to, really just educate and inform and motivate and activate our listenership. And I don't want money to feel like that's compromised that in any way. And he said to me, you're wrong, though. And there's not many times when somebody will actually say that to me and then back it up with facts. But he did. He said, you are selling something. What you're selling is education. What you're selling is hope. And what you're selling is the motivation that people need and the community coordination that people need to feel like they can actually have some control over their future. And you have no idea how valuable that is. And it wasn't probably 20 minutes later that I received that phone call, and from that couple who have agreed to literally match every donation. So if there is any way that you folks can help us and have some skin in this game and make sure that you are proclaiming liberty in a way that, and I understand it. Many of us are very, very tight. Our economy is in horrific condition. I get it, but I got to tell you, we're pretty short of our goal. At this point, we're at about 1855 as of last night and climbing. The goal is a minimum of 4. The true goal is actually 7 to do it right. And if you can help us in any way, we would be extraordinarily grateful. There's 2 ways that you can do that. One, you can visit our website and you can just simply click on the link that says Donate to America's Voice Now. You can do it through PayPal. Even if you don't have a PayPal account, you can utilize a credit card and or a debit card, and that will enable you to just donate through electronic means. If you'd prefer, you can mail checks to us at America's Voice Now, 1010 Court Square. So it's number 10 Court Square. And the address is in West Plains, Missouri, 65775. I tell you, I received a donation yesterday, and from England, and I received one from Australia. Now, folks, I mean, we're broadcasting on a terrestrial radio station here in the heartland of the United States of America, and we've got folks that are listening to us in England and folks that are listening to us in Australia. How stunning is that? I mean, I've looked at the chart of the folks that have logged on to America's Voice Now, our website, and there are probably no more than about 10 countries that have not, at some point in time, hit America's Voice Now. And so the impact that we have is absolutely amazing. Our website gets about 1,000 hits a day. So, you know, when you think about that, that's 30,000 hits a month. When you think about that, how many people are, and the vast majority of that are new users. I mean, it's probably about 70% new users. And, you know, I develop websites for a living. That's what I actually do when I'm not on the air. This is a voluntary effort. Those of you who listen know that this is a Paul Revere moment for me. It's my contribution and the service that I can offer and deliver to my country. And during the daytime, when I'm not here, we do marketing and advertising and web development. So I look at the statistics of what the visitors are that come to americasvoicenow.org, and they are just astounding from all over the nation, from all over the world, actually. And I'm always impressed, frankly, that we've had such a large and broad impact in such a short time. You know, one of our stories the other day, I talked about the issue of this new propaganda rule making it through the 2013 NDAA. That story was actually picked up by WorldNet Daily, WND.com. It made their front page. There were some 4,000 shares on different various social media sites, and some 700 comments on that article that they posted. And they actually put the entire video of that particular half-hour program right dead smack in the middle of the story. So folks didn't just read about it. They could click the play button and actually listen to the entire half hour. That, to me, is utterly stunning. And you know what really trips my trigger about that one? They played the same stream that you folks watch on America's Voice Now all the time, or the same stream that you see on YouTube. What that tells me is that radio is an excellent method of communication, but when you couple that with video, boom, the whole world opens up. And I'll tell you why. Just imagine if it had only been an audio stream, the reporter would have, listened. He would have listened to the entire program and then translated that into his own story. But in this case, he took key segments out of the session that we did that day, and he turned around and not only pulled out excerpts that he thought were appropriate and wrote a story around that, but then he incorporated the video so that you could not only just see his interpretation of it, but see it for yourself and listen for yourself. And that tells me that audio combined with video in the news format like we do here is absolutely invaluable. And so one of the things that we're looking to do with this new website we're developing is to aggregate a group of radio hosts on there. I'll be on Vince Finelli's show this morning out in Springfield. Vince does USA Prepares. He was the sponsor of that event over the weekend, and Vince has agreed that he will be on our new aggregated site, along with Sam and Kurt. And we're also talking to John Moore has agreed to be on. We'll also be talking with Beth Ann from the Common Sense Coalition, and also Joyce Riley from the Power Hour. And so our goal is to find folks that are patriotic in their endeavors and in their desire to restore our country, and handpick those folks so that you have an opportunity to not only listen to AVN, but also to be invested and involved with other hosts who you ordinarily would never know because, for whatever reason, they may not broadcast in your marketplace. And so our goal is to not only get our message out, but also to help introduce our listeners to other people who have and share similar views and can deliver essentially their version on how you can participate in the restoration of our nation. So I got to tell you, I don't want to make a commercial out of this, but I have to tell you, we need your help. We are short of our goal. That stretch goal will really enable us to do this development right on the studio, and it will enable us to work towards aggregating the proper video into it and making it a functional studio that we can continue to broadcast, put our show out on other stations as well, and make sure that we're continuing to spread the word. And we will make sure that you folks here in our local audience, where we received our start and did, broke all our eggs and got all of our bugs out of our program, are able to continue to share with us every day. And I got to tell you, I'm so touched and grateful for all of the people that I have met as a result of this program. Without listeners, no program is worthwhile. And I have met so many people and so many patriots. I have met so many people who have said to me, until I heard AVN, I understood things were wrong, but I didn't have a focus. I didn't have a direction to it. I didn't have a way that I could put my energy at restoring it. And many people tell me, listen, I wasn't even aware all of this was going on. Somebody showed me the program or introduced me to it or sent me a link in email or called me and said, hey, you got to listen to this guy. And I tuned in, and now things have changed for me. I've come off the fence. I'm on the side of patriotism. I'm on the side of liberty. I'm on the side of freedom, and I'm doing everything in my power to fight for it. And folks, we are in a war. Make no mistake about it. This is a war for the preservation of our nation. If we do not step up now, if we do not come together now, if we do not fight now to restore the great nation and the principles and the intent and ideals of our founders, we are lost. And when the United States of America goes the way of Europe or goes the way of South America and falls into totalitarianism and tyranny, the world will change for the worse. We will have, for all intents and purposes, opened the last barrier to evil. I got to tell you, it is such a critical, important thing that we continue to fight, every single one of us, every single day. We cannot let up, because right now we are outgunned, we are outnumbered, we are outmanned, we are outspent. The liberals they see the goal at the end of this elitist global conspiracy. And I have to tell you, it is. Don't throw out you're just wearing a tinfoil hat. If you don't see by now that our nation is driven towards a globalist initiative where a few small elites will sit in an oligarchy at the top and the rest of us will simply be serfs at their behest and at their beck and call, you are absolutely blinded to the truth. And so our mission, our job, is to wake them up, to encourage them to see the truth. And when their eyes are opened, like yours have been over the last few years, maybe some of you only in the last few months, when that becomes a reality, we will add soldiers to this army of patriots every single day. And we absolutely have to wake this country up. I'm amazed at how many people have actually come awake in the last couple of years. When I started doing this program, we had a few listeners who had listened to Joe originally. That's kind of where we started. We were co-hosting it with Joe. And when Joe left, and we continued and changed the format to what it is today, America's Voice Now, I was amazed at how many listeners we actually had. And over time, that has grown and grown and grown. And I have to tell you, today, I know for a fact that America's Voice Now is the most popular program in our broadcast area, beyond a shadow of a doubt. There is no other program that captures the listenership that America's Voice Now does. And we are looking also to stay on the air domestically or terrestrial here in West Plains. We're talking with the folks over at the AM station who will be able to possibly broadcast America's Voice Now. I don't know what the time frame is. I don't even know if they will. But we are in discussions with them. You can support that, by the way, by letting them know at 1450 AM that you would like to hear America's Voice Now broadcast on that station as well. Because the more stations we have, the more ears we have, the more ears we have, the more patriots arise. And that's really what it comes down to. So you can help us in a lot of ways. If you can't help us financially, there are other ways that you can help. You can start by speaking out at your church, your school, the civic organization you're a member of. If you're a VFW Hall member, ask me to come in and do a presentation for your VFW hall. I'd be happy and blessed to do that. Ask me to come in and speak with your church or your church group or your organization. I'm happy to do that for you folks. That is the mission here. This is all about education. Educate and inform. When they become educated and informed, they get motivated. When they get motivated, we then give them the direction to take action. You see, that's the difference, by the way, between AVN and what everybody else is doing. There's a lot of programs out there on conservative talk radio. But how many of them actually provide solutions? How many of them give you direction and say, this is the topic we're going to talk about today. This is what you got to do to fix it. This is the phone number you call. This is the website you go visit. This is where you go in and put your comment in. How many other radio shows do that? None. None. Where are all the big guys? Where are all the big girls? Where are they? They're all out there throwing the issues around and talking about them, but not a single one of them ever provides you an outlet or a channel to take action. Not a one of them has come up with a plan. Now, I've come up with lots of plans. You know, I had this 90 days that will change the world. If America storms Washington and their state capitals and says, we're not leaving until you do. Let me tell you something. If every other radio talk show host in the conservative environment was to go out there and pitch that concept, we'd have 10 million Americans who would march forward. They've got an audience of 150 million collectively. But they're not willing to. You know why? Because they look at this like entertainment. And I don't. To me, this is not entertainment. To me, this is a mission to restore and preserve our republic. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Michael. I'm not going to blow you up too much, but I think you've done a great job. God gave you lemons with this radio station deal, and you're making lemonade, and you've actually put programs together. I know I've participated in several of them.
Well,
and you're doing a good job with that, and I think this thing of the radio stations you're talking about is a wonderful idea.
Well, thank you. You know what? I'm looking at this like God has closed one door but kicked open the barn doors on both sides of the barn, and he slammed the windows wide open, and we are actually going to take this ball and run with it in a way that...
I think you needed to be nationwide for a while, sir. I mean, I really believe you're that good.
Well,
but the big thing is you do organize stuff. You don't just run your mouth about it. You've got on the stick and...
Thank you. Thanks.
And done things. Actually done things. And you hear Rush run his mouth, but man, what has he really done?
But Rush he's got such a listener base. If he'd say, you know what, America, start marching on D.C., they would. He just doesn't do it. Because, I hate to say it, but it almost...
the real ramifications, sir.
I wonder...
started doing what he did.
I wonder if it's not kind of like the old adage that, the American Cancer Society doesn't really want cancer cured because there's too doggone much money in it.
Sure. I've heard that.
Hey, listen, thank you very much for the call. We're on a break. Folks, we'll be back in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break, and when we do, we'll take some of your calls. You're listening to America's Voice Now. Thank you for joining with us. We'll be back in just a minute.
We are the Ozarks' best news talk, KBMV Birch Tree.
We're made to look like we don't have a heart, that we don't care. Have courage and have faith and stand and do the right thing. Hopefully, the rest of the country will come around. But somebody has to say the hard thing. We have to do the right thing, even though it may be painful for all of us.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
Weekdays from 2 to 5, it's Glenn Beck on the Ozarks' best news talk, 107.1.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. All the runways at LaGuardia Airport in New York are operating again after a hard landing shut 2 down.
Everything was smooth aboard Southwest Airlines Flight 345 from Nashville until touchdown yesterday evening when the flight's nose gear folded.
You could hear just the skidding of the brakes and really trying to slow us down.
Kathy Bowles, one of 150 people on board, 16 people with minor injuries, and NTSB investigators are on scene to figure out what went wrong.
Fox News Radio's Jeff Manasso in New York. His lawyer says the NSA leaker Edward Snowden could get his temporary asylum papers from Russia by tomorrow.
Snowden has been in a sort of diplomatic purgatory in Sheremetyevo Airport for more than 3 weeks after he flew to Russia from Hong Kong. President Vladimir Putin has refused to expel Snowden so he can face espionage charges in the U.S.
Fox News Radio's Jessica Gallagher in Moscow.